I'm waiting for 1 more minute only. All right. Very quickly, let's go into our index. I am very quickly going through what we finished. Being neighborly onto the summit, the call of the soil. Done. Cherry tree, the sower, there is another sky upon Westminster Bridge. That's done. 4.1, history of English drama. We've done, among this, we've done emails, we've done interview writing, we've done speech, and of course, we've done blogging, not thoroughly, just a part of it through expansion. Okay. Uh, we have to still do 3.1, 3.2, 3.5, and 3.6. So those topics are still remaining. We have done informal, formal letters because that's what you all had, the letter writing. So we've done the letter. Let's start, children, with Pillars of Democracy, page 35. Open your books to page 35. Actually, we start on page 36. It's not a long chapter. It's a very small chapter. So we're doing Pillars of Democracy today. And we are also doing something known as film review. Okay. We'll finish that or we'll do expansion of ideas, either one. So we'll do one prose topic and we'll also finish one of the writing skills topic. Clear? Let's begin up. Page number 36. I'm going to read for you. I hope all of you have a text. Anyone who doesn't have a text, please raise a hand. Anybody who doesn't have a text here, or is everyone with a text with me? If you have a text, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't have a text, please raise your hand. So I know. I just need to have a clear view so that everyone can follow me. Okay, Vivan has a textbook. What about the others? Yazan has, very good. Sunidhi and Parth also. Vajra, Danesh has. I hope Vajra also has a textbook. Let's begin. Page 36, children. We're not going to speed up. We're going to go nice and slow because we have time for our syllabus. So we are not going to just rush, okay? Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was born on 14th April 1891 in the town and military cantonment of Mao, now Dr. Ambedkar Nagar in Madhya Pradesh. He got his degree from Elphinstone College, Mumbai. He subsequently obtained the doctorate from Columbia University, USA, and London School of Economics. He was also assigned the big and challenging task of framing the Constitution of India in the capacity of chairman of the drafting committee. He was awarded the Bharat Ratna posthumously for his dedication and commitment for the welfare of our country. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has laid emphasis on the values of liberty, equality, and fraternity. According to him, these principles will make India a strong nation. He opines that hero worship is a sure road to degradation and to eventual dictatorship and the collapse of a nation. All right. So here's a little, it's actually an excerpt from his writing. An excerpt is an extract from his writing about what he thinks of democracy and why democracy is important. Let's start. If we wish to maintain a democracy, not merely in form, but also in fact, what must we do? The first thing in my judgment we must do is to hold fast to constitutional methods of achieving our social and economic objectives. When there was no way left for constitutional methods for achieving economic and social objectives, there was a great deal of justification for unconstitutional methods. But where constitutional methods are open, there can be no justification for these unconditional, unconstitutional methods. These methods are nothing but the grammar of anarchy, and the sooner they are abandoned, the better for us. So, what does Dr. Ambedkar say? That it's important that when you're framing a constitution, two things should be met: the social objectives of the country and the economic objectives. That means why society is based, or what do people want, and also what does the country need economically. Now, he says before the constitution ever came into being and before there were any objectives, people used to use all unconstitutional methods to make money or to have some sustainment in society. Let me tell you what this means. He means to say that they used to use illegal or unlawful methods because there was no law, there was no order, there was no constitution that were actually prescribed laws that you had to maintain. However, it was only after the constitution came into being in India that people started to get more civilized. And now they were moving towards economic and social, not degradation but upgradation. But what happens when unconstitutional methods are resorted to or are used? The society is degraded. All right, he says it's a grammar of anarchy. That means there's absolute disorder when there is no proper law framework in society. So it's very important that every country has a constitution of its own. The second thing we must do is to observe the caution which John Stuart Mill has given to all who are interested in the maintenance of democracy, namely, not to lay their liberties at the feet of even a great man or to trust him with powers which enable him to support their institutions. So the second thing, one thing is, first is you have to look after your economic and social objectives. What's the second thing? Never put the powers of your country into the hands of one man. Do not trust a man to such an extent that you sell your country to him. Why? What will happen? This person is going to misuse his powers. And one day it's going to turn against you. Alright? Maybe this political head, this political leader you trusted so much, you voted for, will one day turn his back, maybe because he's greedy, or maybe because that was always his true color and he just showed it when he had power in his hand or she had power in her hands. There is nothing wrong in being grateful to great men who have rendered lifelong services to the country. But there are limits to gratefulness. As has been well said by the Irish patriot Daniel O'Connell, no man can be grateful at the cost of his honor. No woman can be grateful at the cost of her chastity, and no nation can be grateful at the cost of its liberty. So he says, yes, it's good to be grateful. It's good to be grateful to people who have done everything they wanted to for their country. However, what's important to know is that there's a limit to being grateful. You cannot sell yourself or you cannot sell your country in the name of gratefulness. Then he quotes Daniel O'Connell, who was from Ireland, and he actually worked towards the independence of Ireland from the British. What does he say? He says that no man can be so grateful that he loses his dignity and honor in front of another person. No woman can lose her virginity or her purity to be grateful to a man. And thirdly, no country should lose its freedom or dignity or liberty in the hands of a man. This caution is far more necessary in the case of India than in the case of any other country. For in India, bhakti, or maybe called the path of devotion or hero worship, plays the part in its politics unequaled in magnitude by the part it plays in the politics of any other country in the world. Now, he believes that this underlying statement is most equivalent and relevant to India. Why India? Because Indians have this blind faith in their politicians. If they follow somebody, not only politician, it could be any layman, it could be any religion, anything. Indians have this blind faith that when they believe in something, they'll give up everything for what they believe in. So he believes that it is most noted in India that hero worship, one person can be worshipped to such an extent that he'll be treated close to God. Anybody has heard of temples being made in different parts of India in the name of celebrities? Have you all heard of it? They've made temples of Amitabh Bachchan, they have temples of Rajnikant, and these are just men, common men who have rose to fame because of the power, money, and of course their acting skills. But they're not God, they cannot be worshipped. But India goes on to hero worshipping even people who are common like you and me. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar believes that men should not be giving up their honor to glorify somebody else, because this is what is most happening in India. They call them the bucks, or what we call as blind worshippers of somebody who they may have their utmost trust in. Let's continue. Bhakti in religion may be a road to salvation of the soul. So when you say bhakti, I'm on a bhakti movement, it means I want to seek moksha. I want to seek salvation. My soul has to be redeemed. My soul has to be free. But in politics, bhakti or hero worship is a sure road to degradation and to eventual dictatorship. So, what will happen if you put someone at a pedestal up there, and if you constantly worship this person, and if you constantly make this person feel like he's utmost or she's utmost, very soon that person will turn into a monarchy. He'll turn into a dictator. All right. And he or she, whoever it is, will turn into a dictator. And very soon that person will start dictating the way you're supposed to live your life. Why? Because you gave that person the power to live their life. Okay. Many of you know about Queen Elizabeth and how she passed away just recently. Do you know there were British who stood in the lines for 12 and 14 hours only to see the body of the Queen of England, all right, the deceased Queen of England. Those were the same people who never ever stood for their parents. They are the same people who have abandoned their parents, put them in old age homes. Some of them have not even looked at them after getting onto their own feet. But these are the same people who stood by for 12 and 14 hours without going to the washroom, without eating anything, without sitting for a minute, only to see the deceased body of the Queen of England. You can imagine the extent of hero worship or the extent of bhakti that they have in them, that they didn't standing on that road for I don't know how many hours for someone who has died and who's human. Okay, it's a monarchy. Yes, we all know, but it's a self monarchy. Who has made them king and queen? We people. And that's what Babasaheb Ambedkar says. He says it's a path to degradation. If you treat someone like God, you are degrading and very soon be ready to be a dictator country. On the 26th of January 1950, we are going to enter into a life of contradictions. Very important for all those who don't know. The 26th of January is the Republic Day. I think all of us know that. Okay, 15th of August is the Independence Day. 26th January 1950 was the day we actually adopted the Constitution of India. All right. And why does he say it's going to be a life of contradictions? Because not everyone is going to agree with what has been told to them. Not everyone is going to agree with what has been written in the Constitution. You'll have elements in society that are antisocial, okay, that will go against things that are written actually in the Constitution. In politics, we will have equality, and in social and economic life, we will have inequality. So in politics, they'll speak about equality, but the truth is, in reality, when we come down to common man's life, there'll be no equality whatsoever. In politics, we will be recognizing the principle of one man, one vote, and one vote, one value. In our social and economic life, we shall, by reason of our social and economic structure, continue to deny the principle of one man, one value. So every person in India, if he is a citizen of India and if he's 18 years of age, will be given a chance to vote when he has to choose his government. And every vote will be of value. However, the truth is, in social and economic life, we will never value our brethren. We are not going to value our brothers and sisters. In our social and economic life, we shall, by reason of our social and economic structure, continue to deny the principle of one man, one value. How long shall we continue to live like the life of contradictions? How long shall we continue to deny equality in our social and economic life? If we continue to deny it for long, we will do so only by putting our political democracy in peril. So, the more the inequality, the more the barriers, the more the obstacles, the more the gap created between the rich and the poor in society. And that itself will be a peril, a danger to the Constitution of India. So, you see, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar written all this in the 1940s. And I think he could foresee 80 years down the line what was going to happen. Okay, as soon as people will socially, economically, and religiously tear each other apart, even the Constitution of India is going to fall apart. And I think we can very well see that happening. Okay, there's so much of division in the name of religion, especially, and there's a complete class system that barricades or differentiates the rich, the middle class, and the poor. That the Constitution of India that speaks about equality, liberty, fraternity is lost. It has failed. We must remove this contradiction at the earliest possible moment, or else those who suffer from inequality will blow up the structure of political democracy, which this assembly has so laboriously built up. And that's true. You can suppress someone for some time. You can make them feel unequal for some time. You can make them feel like an untouchable. You can make them feel like a lower class for some time. However, there's going to come a point in time where they will not be able to take it anymore. And what's going to happen when they don't take it anymore? There's be an outburst. When there's an outburst, there's going to be violence, there's going to be conflict, there's going to be war. And the very reason why this Constitution of India was set up so laboriously by the entire committee, the Constitutional Drafting Committee, is going to fail. They are not going to be successful. The second thing we are wanting in its recognition of the principle of fraternity. What does fraternity mean? So let's understand. We understood what is equality. Now let's understand what is fraternity. Fraternity means a sense of common brotherhood of all Indians. Common brotherhood, treat everybody. I think you'll say it in your pledge. India is my country. All Indians are my brothers and sisters. The second line is fraternity. Treat everybody like your own. Treat all Indians like your brothers and sisters. If Indians being one people, so consider Indians to be one. We are not different. There's no north, south, east, west, Bengali, Christian, Maharashtrian, and things like that. It's all one whole nation. It is it is principle which unity and solidarity social life. Okay, unity, yes, solidarity, peace. There's peace all over the world, and especially in India, if people only accept each other's differences and treat each other like family. It is a difficult thing to achieve, extremely. Knowing the kind of backgrounds we have, knowing the kind of thought processes, knowing the fact that even though we are literate, we still think like the illiterate, or we still don't wish to wipe off those blinders that are on our eyes, it is a difficult task. How difficult it is can be realized in the story related by James Bryce on American Commonwealth about the United States of America. The story is, so they believe that James Bryce himself spoke about how fraternity, though it's something that every country wants to achieve, it's not easily achievable. Let's see why. I propose to recount in the words of Bryce himself that some years ago, the American Protestant Episcopal Church was occupied at its triennial convention in revising its liturgy. It was thought desirable to introduce among the short sentence prayers a prayer for the whole people, and an eminent New England divine proposed the words, O Lord, bless our nation. Accepted one afternoon on the spur of the moment, the sentence was brought up next day for reconsideration, when so many objections were raised by the laity to the word nation as importing to define a recognition of national unity, and that it was dropped, and instead they adopted the words, "O Lord, bless these United States." So, yeah, let's first understand who's the American Protestant Episcopal Church. It's a group of Christians who have diverted from the Roman Catholic Church or from the church that we follow, and they have formed their own American church in America itself. All right, and it has many branches in the United States of America. They were celebrating their 300th anniversary, 300 years that they've been established. And for that, they decided that they would revise all the mass rites, that means the church rites. What are church rites? Just like how you have puja or you have a mass prayer or things like that, we have something known as liturgy in Christians. A liturgy is a mass prayer that Christians say every Sunday. So they decided on their 300th anniversary, they were going to make these changes in the liturgy, in the prayer. So one change was that every time they met for prayer, they would say, "Oh Lord, bless our nation." And this change was brought about, or the idea came about in the spur of the moment. That means very quickly. Now, there were many objections. People didn't like it. People didn't like the fact that nation was put together. So instead, they said, "Oh Lord, bless these United States being the United States of America." So can you imagine? Even the church didn't approve of United States being one nation. They considered it to be different states under one nation. So here you have Ambedkar, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, speaking of bride and give example of the church, a religious, a multifaceted religious head. The church itself didn't propose fraternity. Instead of using nation, they spoke about United States. That means they still use division. There was so little solidarity in the US at the time when this incident occurred that the people of America did not think they were a nation. If the people of the United States could not say that they were a nation, how difficult it is for Indians to think that they are a nation. The United States, whether you go east, west, north, south, there are a lot of similarities. They don't have native cultures. Like in India, okay, besides the fact that they have red Indians who are tribals, they don't really have differences in opinions and differences in culture. Whereas India, the north is extremely different from south. The west never meets the east. Imagine how different we are. If United States cannot achieve fraternity, how will India achieve it? I remember the days when politically minded Indians resented the expression the people of India. They preferred the expression the Indian nation. Okay, so when India was formed, once the British were handing it over to the Indians, they never liked to be called the people of India. They should be called the people nation or the Indian nation. I am of opinion that in believing that we are a nation, we're cherishing a great delusion. Okay, we are not calling ourselves people of a country, we are just calling ourselves a country. And what are we doing in that? We are actually accepting a mistake, we are accepting a wrong idea. We are not one nation. Okay, we are one group of people in a nation. A nation is different and a group of people in a nation is different. How can people divided into several thousands of castes be a nation? We agree? If you Google the number of Indians, the castes that are present in India, it goes to beyond 28,000 castes. Okay? I'm not talking about the religions. Religions have, I don't know how many barriers in India, but only caste. Each one has a different thought process. How can we gain unity? The sooner we realize that we are not as yet a nation in the social and psychological sense of the word, the better for us. So maybe we are bound by one geographical boundary. But the truth is, our thought process is so different that we cannot call ourselves one nation. For then only we shall realize the necessity of becoming a nation and serious means of realizing the goal. The realization of this goal is going to be very difficult, far more difficult than it has been in the United States. So to realize that we are one, to realize that we are united, to realize that we are one whole is going to be very difficult because United States itself has not achieved it till now. Imagine India. The United States has no caste problem. In India, there are castes. Castes are anti-national. Anti-national, something that goes against the nation. So the minute you have a caste system in a place, They put their caste and their religion before the country, and that becomes anti-national. In the first place, because they bring about separation in social life, we like to it. We like to stay in vicinities that our community lives in. We love to stay, we love to go to schools that our community runs or maybe our community belongs to. We like to socialize with people of our community. They are anti-national also because they generate jealousy and antipathy between caste and creed. But we must overcome all these difficulties if we wish to become a nation in reality. Superficially, we are a nation. On paper, we are a nation, but really, we are not. For fraternity can be a fact only when there is a nation. Without fraternity, equality, and liberty will be no deeper than coats of paint. What is coats of paint? We are only camouflaging to the world that we are a nation. We are only showing off to the world that we are a nation. But the truth is, if you really get into India, you will know we are not a nation. We are more divided, far more divided than our enemies also. All right. So yeah, this is your chapter. I want you to do something right now. A12. State whether the following statements are true or false. Please do that. State whether the following statements are true or false. A2. I also want you to do A3. A2 and A3. I'm giving you all approximately 5 minutes, children. Please do that fast. Two minutes. I'm giving you 2 minutes more. One more minute, children. All right. Let's see if you can get the answers right. We're on page 39. True or false? There is nothing wrong in being grateful to Great Pen. Anybody can unmute themselves, whether it is true or false. Anyone? What do you all think? Children, you have to participate or I will have to report you all, and that's not going to be very good. So please participate when we ask you to, especially if it's an online class. If that's the case, then I'm going to give it to you as homework and I'm not going to discuss anything from your own, because this is not something I expect from you all. Very quickly, somebody unmute themselves. I'm not going to give you all answers on a plateau. Please remember that. Quickly, children. Okay, then I guess this is as homework because we don't want to do it for, I don't know, reasons best known to you all. You all do not want to answer me, and it's very, very upsetting. So I guess we will keep it as homework only for you all. And the next time we come to class, we're going to discuss these answers. We're going to go into expansion of ideas. Page number 98. Now this is too much to understand. So I'm going to give you all in short, and I'm going to give you my own expansion that I will put onto the screen and you will copy it down. Okay. So first of all, understand what's an expansion of an idea. It is an elaborated proverb. For example, Rome was not built in a day, or as you sow, so shall you reap, or too many cooks spoil the broth. Now, these are proverbs that have a deeper meaning. So, in expansion of ideas, you are supposed to do three things. First, you are supposed to actually write the meaning of the proverb in the introductory paragraphs. Okay. So, paragraph one is always introduction. And introduction is meaning, absolute meaning of the proverb. Second paragraph is the story. Now, whatever the proverb is, it is developed through a moral. So you will narrate a story of your own experience, of someone else's experience, to which the conclusion will lead to the moral. For example, if it's as you sow, so shall you reap. You will write about how maybe you did good to somebody and good came back to you. Or you can write about maybe how someone did bad to you and unknowingly you realize that something bad happened to that person. Okay. So the story has to be related to the proverb, and the proverb has to come out as a moral at the end. And the conclusion is you reinforcing the meaning of the proverb. Now, I'm putting up one such that my student has written, an expansion just recently. I want you to copy that expansion down into your notebooks. Please do not take screenshots because it's a handwritten expansion and you will not understand it. All right. So I'm putting up one expansion for you all. Give me 1 minute. One minute, okay, children? Now, please see that you all do your homework because next time I'm going to unmute anyone and you all should be ready. Give me a minute. It has to read, so it may take some time. Unmute yourself and let me know if you can see it, please. Because only then I will know whether you all can actually see what I'm putting up on screen. Is it visible, children? As of now?
No, ma'am, it isn't.
No? Okay. Now, can you all see it? I want you all to take this down. The expansion of idea is where there's a will, there's a way. I'm reading the first paragraph for you. Okay. And I want you to write it down. The meaning of the proverb, where there's a will, there is a way, is very literal in the sense that when one has a lot of will and is never going to give up, one will always find a way out of the hole they are in. All right. So write that first paragraph down and we'll go ahead. I can zoom it a little more for y'all so that it's visible. Yeah. I hope y'all can see now. Somebody unmute themselves and let me know if you can see. Okay, great. We go to the second paragraph. An American marathoner, cyclist, and he is a Navy SEAL member. One time weighed at almost 130 kilos at point of height and healthy round weight. There was social about the United States of America Navy SEALs and set his heart out on them. Of course, he was not to make the according to his see me or me. I am back. There was, I think, a little network issue. 1 minute, I'll share my screen again. Just a minute. Yes, sorry, I'm back. I just asked them to make me host. Give me a minute, children. Once they make me host, I'll share it back with you. Don't worry, if we run out of time, the next time I'll give you the whole thing again. Or maybe I'll just send it on the group, depends. All right. I've still not been made host, so we'll have to wait. Hold on, children. I'll be made host and then I will share. Just give me a minute. So please make me host because we are waiting to share our document on screen so that the children write. Uh, Vivan Kanvinde, my dear, you have become the host. I don't know how, maybe because of the network fluctuation. Can you make me host? Okay, great. Thank you very
Yes, ma'am,
much.
I've done it. I've done it.
Yeah, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Okay, I'm just sharing my screen again. We have around 7 minutes left. So, yeah, we can do it. Yes, we were here. Goggins at one time, sorry, I finished all that. According to his recruiter, at his age, a height, he could only weigh 191 pounds. The challenge he posed to himself was to lose nearly 50 kilos in 2 months' time. He made the weight and the journey from 135 kilos to a shredded triathlete look has been an arduous one, filled with a lot of willpower. Okay, so that's the second paragraph. Please write that down. I'm giving you 5 minutes or so. 2 minutes more, children. Then I'm going to the last paragraph. And we go to the last paragraph. The power he had was so strong that even though all the odds were against him, he found a way through his will. Okay, so reinforcing the proverb. It's your last paragraph. Write that down, children. I'm giving you all 1 more minute to write this down. All right, children, and that sums up our class. Next time we come in, we are going to do a poem, and also I'll try and do a rapid reader that is from the drama section. So yeah, please be ready with your textbooks, also with your notebooks. I will see you all. 1 second. I will see you all next Tuesday or Thursday whenever possible. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.